Welcome to the 360 show. It's the build up to Christmas time, and with Christmas time comes a lot of good gifts. I read through my comments and I saw a lot of mentions for the name Sanju Samson, and I thought I'll treat you guys to a Christmas gift. By getting hold of Sanju, he was open to have a quick chat on the 360 show. It is a very special edition, and let's give him a call actually on that note. Let's go. Look at that pretty face. What language do you speak, Sanju? What's your mother tongue?
It's Malayalam. Can you say that?
Era mone supele.
Okay.
Listen, okay, let's start the chat just quickly.
Yeah.
The last while you've found incredible form, and I think you've really upped it a gear. You've gone into overdrive, which is amazing. And the exciting thing is, I think there's a lot more to come. It was the craziest feeling, you scoring 100 against South Africa, and I'm actually being happy. It was weird for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ibi. That means a lot.
I remember playing against you a few times in the IPL, especially
Yeah.
the one game at the Chinnaswamy where you scored 100. And I think that was the day where I thought to myself, "Wow, this is a special talent." What's the reason for the sudden form? Is it maybe just something that's normal where cricketers go through ups and downs, or was there
Yeah.
something specific in the last while that worked for you?
I think thanks for that. That's a lovely question. I think, to be honest, there is nothing much change from my end, Ab. I think each and every time, like if I look back at what I am doing, like the training aspect, the practice aspect, the number of hours I'm spending in the nets, and all those things have never changed actually. So it is very constant. I think, for example, I was just thinking about the same question. What did you do differently? Boss? What's happening? So I kind of figured out, maybe I think every time I was selected for the Indian series. Like I just started playing more games, right? But before also I know that I might not end up in the 11. I might be just traveling by the sidelines. But I made sure that I prepared like properly. Like I used to come for every series like properly geared up and properly prepared to score runs and all those things. And when I started playing, I thought, what am I doing different? I'm just still doing the same thing. Like I'm just practicing, and the same things happened. Maybe the timings, I don't know what has changed. Maybe the timings, maybe the more consistent number of games, or maybe I think you know some you don't know answers for some questions, right? I'm just going with the flow. Something is happening and I'm very grateful for that, and I just want to keep continuing actually. So exactly, I don't know what has happened. So it's like, yeah. Yeah.
That's actually a good answer. I've got that question many times in my career, and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know. Maybe it's something to do with becoming more mature, understanding your game a bit better,
Mm.
and I think it's almost more mental thing than anything else, where you sort of start understanding how you work, what your weaknesses are, and what your strengths are.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, preparation and
Yeah.
training smarter than ever. I think that worked for me in my career. Where when I got
Mm.
older, I
Mm.
realized it's not just about hitting 1,000 balls, but it's how I hit the 1,000 balls and what exactly I work on. So I think you
Yeah.
get a bit smarter with training sessions. But
Yes.
I've picked up that your strike rate, I mean, the strike rate is upped as well. Is that something that you've decided that you want to be more aggressive up front?
Yeah, maybe I think if you like see the way I play, actually, I just love to go and dominate. I just love to be the dominator, and that's what my character is. And like off the field, I like to be positive. So I just want to go out and express myself. So each and every time I play a T20 game, I just feel that 20 overs is a small thing, boss. I think there are 7, 8 batters
Mm.
waiting in the dressing room. So you just go out there and do what you can best. And then if
Yeah,
it's
I
not
love that.
your day, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
if
I
it's
love
not,
that when I watch you play. You
yeah,
almost look for opportunities early on,
yeah,
not allowing the bowlers to just settle in.
yeah,
And I was very similar. It was always important for me to identify little moments, and even if
yeah,
it's the first ball of the game, it doesn't matter. If it's a bad
yeah,
ball, there's an
yeah.
opportunity to put pressure on the bowlers, and I've seen you
Right.
do that.
Yes, yes, AB. And especially I think when you are putting up a total on the board, you never know what's a good total in T20 format.
Mm.
So why you waste time, or why you wasting balls actually? So that's a question I started thinking when I started leading the side in RR. Like I'm like, boss, if you're playing on a slow wicket, you can't say wicket is slow and I will just score 150, 160. And the wickets get better in the second innings, and you expect your bowlers to bowl incredibly well and get the team all out in 160. So it's a batsman job. If the wicket is tough, you need to take those risks. You need to put a big total on the board, because I feel chasing nowadays becomes easier.
And playing for India, Sanjay, let's quickly go international cricket. What are your dreams and
Yeah.
your goals there with regards to international
Uh,
cricket? Do you want to play all formats?
Yeah, of course. I think I just want to explore a bit. Like honestly, I feel that I have something special. I am blessed with something special in my hand and with the bats in my hand. So I just want to train hard as possible, practice as hard as possible, learn, observe, apply my mind as much as possible, and see where I can go. Boss, I don't want to have dreams or have limitation. I just want to see that how far I go. So actually, I don't feel like having dreams or all those things. Like I am actually living my dream. So I am actually going through something special. So I just want to see that where I can go with this kind of talent and this kind of work ethic I have. So I think I'm just kept it very open, and let's see where do we go.
Yeah, one game at a time, right? And
Yes, yes.
what I've enjoyed about the Indian selectors in the last few seasons, I feel they're very fair with the selections they make. They look at performances and they pick on performance. So
Hmm.
the road is pretty clear for all players. I feel coming from India,
Yeah,
you've just got to go out there and score runs. It's as simple as that, or take wickets if you're a
great.
bowler. And playing under Gautam Gambhir, has that been refreshing and good?
Yeah, it has been. I think I have had some decent relationship with Gautam Bhai right from my young age. As my first IPL team was KKR. When I was the age of 14, they picked me in their B team, and at the age of 17, I made it into the KKR main side. And when that was when KKR won the championship under Gautam Bhai. So I have a decent relationship with him from a few years. So I think when he came to the Indian team, I think in the dressing room, he told me, Sanju, I know what you have, boss. You have something special. I am going to back you no matter what. You just walk in and just go out there and express yourself and be what you want to be. So I think that kind of communication right from the coach actually, so that gave me some clarity, that gave me some confidence, and I just walked out. And then after few games of dismissal, you feel a bit more pressure, boss, because you have some guys backing you and you have not performed yet. Come on, Sanju. I think you need to show something back to the coach who is backing you. So I think that kind of made it very clear that yes, boss, you have to do something special, and by God's grace, something special has happened. I just want to just continue and just perform and win more games for the country from now.
What a top man. I hope you guys enjoyed that chat. Remember, that's just a brief conversation that we had. The full conversation will be released this coming Saturday on the 360 show. So keep an eye out for that. Let's cover the comms box quickly. Talking about the comms box, this is where I picked up that you guys wanted to hear from Sanju. So please bear in mind, I do read the comments and post your comments down below. Ask questions. Please give me whatever names you guys want to see on the 360 show, and I'll try and get a hold of some of the best players in the world. I've got a couple of comments here that I want to cover today. Ritvik Rao, how can batters improve playing against the moving ball? Good question that. It comes down to playing the ball late, guys, and having a good foundation with your feet, having your eyes level with the ground. Those are the basics that I really focused on a lot. And remember, I spoke about Travis Head in a couple of shows with that back foot. Remember, your back foot is your anchor. So I always try to keep my foot as flat and for as long as possible. Flat for as long as possible before you ultimately will lift that heel up and get onto your toe. Because the minute you lift that heel up a bit early, you tend to square yourself up. You tend to play the ball a bit early. So that is keeping your shape by keeping that back foot flat, playing the ball late, keeping the eyes level to the floor. If you do those basics well, Ritwik, I'm pretty sure you will play the moving ball a lot better. It ultimately comes down to playing it late under your eyes. I always refer to it as a box. You must feel like you're playing in a box, and don't let your hands get out of the box, but keep everything tight and compact in that box. I hope that helps. Chepa Makwaya, do we need to reduce Test cricket to 4 days only to allow for more matches? Good question. I think it might help with the WTC in order to get it as fair as possible. Remember, we covered that as well, where um, urging the ICC on to try and get the best possible system, possibly have it over a few years where all teams end up playing against each other, where you can have ultimately the finale. And looking at the two teams, you know these two teams for 2 or 3 years were the most consistent and the best teams at home, away from home, you name it. And that's ultimately what we want. We want the best teams to lift the trophies. So thanks for that, Sepo. I think it's a good idea. I do, however, still, I'm a little bit of an old school guy. I like 5 day test cricket. I love it when a test match goes to 5 days. I know we haven't seen a lot of it, but I just like the mental side thereof. So difficult one. I'd rather just extend the period of the WTC in itself, make it even 4 years, like the ODI World Cups, play it over 4 years, and have a grand finale where you have 3 to 5 test matches for that final as well, not just the once off at Lords. I like the fact that it's a neutral ground, but do it to like 3 to 5 test matches, a proper series where the best two teams play off for a huge trophy, and whatever you want to call it. I just think that'll be fantastic. So that's the comms box, guys. Let's move on to ABReacts. I love this. The Proteas name a really strong squad for the ODI series against Pakistan, and I really, really like that. Remember Australia opting not to pick their best team to play that ODI series against Pakistan, and look at them in the performance in that first test match against India. I do feel all the comments from the former players like Ricky Ponting, Gilchrist, we heard a lot of players, players not being happy with that. Michael Clark was another one, and I fully agree with them. And maybe South Africa learned from the Aussies and learned from their mistake, and they picked a really, really good team. A lot of these players that play in the ODI series against Pakistan will be running out in the Test series against them, and I like that because ultimately the bowlers and the batters will still have to go and practice. And what better practice can you get than out there in the middle? Yes, it is a white ball. I know that it's 50 overs, but it's still just great for them to be out there, get their overs under the belt, get some runs. It's still a ball, all right? Even if it's white and you'll move to the red ball. Now, with a bit of form, perhaps a bit of middle practice, you can go into the nets for a few days and then run into the test match. I really like that. It's a strong squad, guys, and we know how important the series against Pakistan is. That is the test series I'm talking about. So touch wood, hopefully no injuries for some of those players that will be playing in the test series. But I'm pretty sure this is the right decision, and I like what the Proteas did here. New Zealand waking up a little late against England, right? They will look back at those first 2 test matches and think, why didn't we hit the ground running in those first 2 test matches? We could have qualified for the finale of the WTC. Unfortunately for them, waking up a little late in the series as they are dominating this third test match. And it's almost as if they found the recipe now, and it's a little bit too little too late. Kane Williamson, great to see him back in form, guys. I love it when this guy scores runs. It's not very often you keep him quiet for a long period of time. And wonderful to see him in form as New Zealand dominating the third test match. Australia-India, Border Gavaskar Trophy. Nice to see Steve Smith score some runs as well as Australia take the lead over there in Brisbane. Also, Travis Head, another big century from him. He's in the form of his life. A little bit of football news. Man United back on the winning streak. Come on, guys. I think they're playing a little bit better, beating the Manchester City team in that derby. What an unbelievable comeback, being 1-0 down, only 4 or 5 minutes left, I think, in the game. Bruno Fernandes slotting that penalty, and then Ahmad with that winning goal. Unbelievable skill as he just flicked it over the keeper and he nailed it across into the goal. Great win from United. We celebrate the small victories, right? For all you Man United fans out there, not the best season, not a few one season. It's been a few seasons now. We've been struggling. But there is a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel, I feel, as they are starting to play a bit better. And what I liked most about this victory is that passion we saw. We saw the Man United team really fired up for this, even though in the bottom half of the log, I think they're more or less in the middle now. They still looked really passionate and ready to win games for Man United. So onwards and upwards for the Man United team. And guys, that is that for this week's 360 show. I decided to keep it short. It was a bit of a different format with that short chat with Sanju Samson. Remember, the full interview or the full conversation will be released on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. As always, please subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification, and also like this show and follow me on socials to stay up to date with everything I get up to. Have a fantastic holiday. I hope you enjoyed that interview this coming Saturday, and wherever you are in the world, Merry Christmas. Take care.